The reason I think taping my mouth made me sleep better is because I think that I no longer had to think about not being able to scream when I had a nightmare. You see, I've always struggled with nightmares and also pissing my bed, right? I was one of those kids who pissed the bed too long. And one of the things that I learned to do after a while is I'm playing around with how the presentation also affects these things that I think about. So one of the ways that they teach you to overcome trusting your dream, when it says that you are really in a bathroom and that you should let go, and then you let go and even your hair gets wet, like my dad used to say. So the thing is that when you tape your mouth, right, it helps you to breathe through your nose. That's the latest thing that we're learning. But I think it's kind of like the thing that we're learning about LDL, which is for another video, that it has benefits other than the one that we discovered it for, right? So when I tape my mouth, it is true, you breathe through your nose until you sleep a lot better. But I also think that what it does for me is that my subconscious mind no longer needs to think about how I'm going to scream, because I put it to sleep under the understanding that my mouth is covered. So I'm not going to scream anyway. It's as if I'm telling it that I'm not going to have any nightmares. Because if I was going to have a nightmare, I would need to scream out loud to get help, right? But if you tape your mouth, and the only way to test this is if you have a child who has nightmares, and then maybe you can help them do two things: stop the nightmares, but also be able to obviously breathe better, which is to say sleep better, right? And I'm interested in the things that you start out with one goal in mind for, only to discover that the thing that really holds value for you is something that is also a correlate of the first thing, right? You know what I mean? So for instance, you start out taping your mouth, imagining that you're going to get better sleep. And what it actually does for you is that you no longer get nightmares, right? And like everything else, right? All of this, there are so many layers to this, because I've also been doing the Stephen LaBarge test. And so I've also been trying to get better at lucid dreaming. So maybe that is part of it as well. But I'm interested in citizen science, right? Which is to say you and I finding something in the wild and testing it out on our own and finding out that in our particular instances, it does something, and then having enough confidence to wonder if anybody else in the world has thought about it or has had that problem. And maybe that is one of the ways in which we discover other things that we wouldn't have discovered if we left it to the academy, right? So the thing that I hope you take away from this, if anything, is that if you're not already, tape your mouth when you sleep. It's going to help a lot. And if it also stops your nightmares, let us know.